just a review of how this class works. You can meditate on whatever you want to meditate on if you already have a practice, but I'll guide a practice. And I usually do a month or 6 weeks of some formal practice that I instruct, and then we'll do a different type of formal practice so that you can get the flavor, but if that's not what works for you, because not all styles of meditation work for every person. I was teaching a workshop last Saturday, I think it was, and one of the meditations I taught really keyed me up. Like it went the wrong way. It made me anxious. And so that's one thing to say is, if I'm saying, oh yeah, just follow the breath and that's not working for you, feel free to do the butterfly hug we already did, or, just kind of disassociate or tap your feet on the ground, whatever works for you. So for instruction, I can just give you 2 pieces of instruction today. And this comes from that trauma-informed mindfulness sphere of knowledge. A great book, in case you're really into that, is actually a book called Trauma-Sensitive Mindfulness. And it's this teacher who goes into kind of the stuff that might come up specifically in the environment of meditation related to dealing with the complexities that trauma brings. So one is a slogan from my main meditation teacher who says, the purpose of the practice is presence of awareness. It's nice and alliterative, so you could say it with proper diction. The purpose of the practice is presence of awareness. What does that mean? Well, it means exactly what I was saying, that if a technique, like the one I taught last week, makes you more anxious or less able to be present, the technique is secondary to the presence of awareness. So what we're trying to do with all this, focus on the breath and whatever, is to be able to help our mind shift out of basically the stress fantasies that we create for ourselves, or they'll say shift out of thinking and doing into feeling and being. So with that, it's kind of whatever works to get us to the feeling and being, whatever's going to work to get to presence of awareness is the method. Then the second one is where the trauma-sensitive instructions come into place. That one of the reasons why you need trauma-informed mindfulness is that the feeling part of feeling and being can sometimes be quite uncomfortable. We're thinking and doing because to feel and to be would be overwhelming. So that's just something to know, that if you talk to somebody who is, they say, oh, I tried to meditate, it just made me more anxious. Or I tried to meditate. Every time I sit to meditate, I get really angry. That may be the fact that they are finally tuning into the feeling level of their being, but they don't yet have the tools to find presence of awareness sort of around what's present there, or in spite of, or to integrate that. So a couple of techniques that you might do. One recommended in that book is, instead of to do sitting meditation, you can do walking meditation. And you can do it in place by going a step forward and step back. And then sometimes in an environment like this, they even say you can sneak that just by lifting a foot and the other foot. And the way this works is that often, not always, but often when there are trauma triggers and flooding, we are shifting, our physiology is perceiving something from the past rather than the present, where things are actually pretty fine, at least just right here for the duration of meditation. And so when you focus on the sensation of your feet, you're shifting it back to right here where things are actually just fine, and out of the memory or the future fantasy where things are terrible. So these are just a couple of ideas that may inform your practice, but to have a little instruction. And then let's do our standard 21 breath count. So this is You simply exhale and you count 1, then you inhale, you exhale, you count 2, and then you inhale, et cetera, up to 21. And then 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, blah, 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 0. And you just climb the ladder back and forth. If you lose count, start again at 1. If you start thinking and chatting, but you know you're on number 18, then just bring your mind back to the breath and don't judge the chatting. It'll calm down on its own. The good news is once you relax, all the thought chatter calm. You don't have to do anything about that. You just have to come back to whatever method you're using to create presence of awareness. So that's that. Let's sit together for about 20 minutes. Excellent. Yes. And of course, just to say again, if you do need to sneak out, feel free to do that. I've got that clock up there. So find yourself a comfy posture. It's important that you can be comfortable and park the body. So as much as possible, you wouldn't have to move. You can begin by just noticing your breath, whatever it's doing, without trying to change it. And if you like, before we even start that method, you might try doing the 2-1 ratio breathing, which I really like lately, which is just where you lengthen the exhale so it's about twice as long as the inhale. And research seems to show that this will shift you out of that thinking and doing state into more of a feeling and being state. And then when you're ready, using whatever meditation method works best for you, but if you want to follow along with today's instructions, simply counting the exhales up to 21 and back down. Take note of your mind. If you need to, come back to the breath and the count, or even start fresh. And once again, just take note of your mind. If you need to, bring it back to the object of concentration. And letting go of that method, we'll just sit quietly for about a minute. And if you like, you can practice lengthening the exhales. Taking a natural inhale. Using this 2-1 breathing as a way to transition. And also helping the mind to hone in more on that relaxed state of being as we bring the awareness back up out of any meditative states toward the more conversational level. When you're ready, you can lift your gaze, move your body if you like. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, we're back. Meditation class, autumn edition. Feeling good? Any questions before we go? Anything you need to clarify on that practice?